All right. As long as you're taking math, you will be asked about the quadratic formula. So this, in fact, right here is the quadratic formula. We say x equals negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. All right. That is what the quadratic formula is. All right. Now, what do a, b, and c stand for? A, B, and C stand for the general form for a quadratic is ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. So a is just the number in front of the square term, b is the number in front of the x, and c is considered the constant. It really is super duper easy. All you got to do is plug numbers into the formula. That's it. All right. Now, what I want to do is for question number 1, everyone has to write down the formula. All right. I'm making you write down the formula because when you take your test on Friday, I'm not giving you the formula. All right. So you have that many days to learn the quadratic formula. All right, so here we go. X equals negative b plus or minus the square root b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. All right, that's the formula. Now, I want everybody underneath the formula to write a equals. Who can tell me what a equals? 1. Very good. What does b equal? -1. Very good. And what does c equal? -4. Beautiful. All right. Now, how did I get that? This is a 1. This is a -1. A, B, C. Now, literally, all you're doing is plugging the numbers in. All right, that's all you're doing. So here we go. If I plug 1 in, all right, and -1 and -4, make sure you put them in the proper spots. So I say x equals, I'm going to write negative just for you, and then I'm going to say -1 plus or minus -1 squared minus 4 times a times c all over 2 times 1. That's just plugging numbers into the formula. So from there, x equals -1 is +1. 1 plus or minus square root. What's -1 squared? 1. What's -4 times 1 times -4? +16. All over what's 2 times 1? 2. So x equals 1 plus or minus the square root. What's 1 plus 16? 17 all over 2. And that is your answer. That's your answer for the quadratic formula. So now we're going to try number 3. Come on now, stay with me. First thing we're going to do is we're going to try to write the equation. X equals -b plus or minus the square root b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Then I just want you right underneath it. A equals, somebody tell me? 3. B equals, and C equals. Beautiful. A equals 3, B equals -11, C equals -2. So now X equals. Now, do I have to write -11 again? No, we just write what? 11. Thank you. Very good. 11 plus or minus square root. Now, who can tell me what -11 squared is? Wow, 121. Thank you. And then -4 times 3 times -2 all over 2 times 3, which is what? 6. All right. Again, just plug in numbers in. All right. X equals 11 plus or minus. Now, 121. 4 times 3 times 2 is 24. Does everybody see that? There's two negatives. Two negatives, so it's going to make it a positive 24 all over 6. So X equals 11 plus or minus the square root of 145 over 6. Yes. Well, are you asking me? I just multiplied these three numbers together. That's all. 4 times 3 times 2. You with me? All right. Anybody have any questions with that? And 145 does not break down. I mean, it is 5 times what? 29. But none of those are perfect squares, so we just leave it like that. Any issues? All right, let's let the fun continue. Again, let's write it. All right. So X equals -b plus or minus square root b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Come on, guys, try to get it memorized before you leave. That's why you're writing it down. Don't just, blindly just put it down. Think about it as you're writing. So now I want everybody to write A equals, B equals, and C equals. Beautiful. So here we go. X equals -4 plus or minus 16 minus 4 times 6 times -1 all over 12. All right, I told you, getting there. It's easy, very easy. All right. Now we just got to figure out what's under the radical. X equals -4 plus or minus square root. What's 4 times 6 times 1? No. Positive 24, because there are how many negatives? 2 negatives. So now you should be able to tell me what's 16 plus 24? 40. If you don't know that now, you can ask me. All right. I'm expecting you to be able to do 16 minus 4 times 6 times -1 in your head. This again is how much? 24 plus is what? That's how I got that. All right, now can I break down 40? Yes. So X equals -4 plus or minus, what about 40? Which is? Say it again. No, 40 is what? 4 times 10. So 4 comes out as a, there you go. So now we're just reviewing. Make sure you're understanding it's 2 radical 10 over 12. And I'm still not done, but I want to make sure everybody remembers 40. Square root of 40, we break down to 4 times 10. Yes? All right, now I want everybody to take their highlighter and I want them to highlight the 4, the 2, and the 12. All of those can be divided by what number?
2.
So we're reducing the fraction, dividing by 2. So my final answer is go.
-2 plus or minus 1 radical 10 over 6.
Yes. Now, do I have to put the 1 in front of the 10? No, but you can if you want. You can if you want, not necessary. All right, now again, there's a lot of work right there. All right, it's not a good idea to wait until I'm all the way at the end of the page before you say, man, I don't have any clue what you're doing. What?
Can you divide by 2 again?
You mean, oh, no. Listen, that's a very good question again. William, listen to me. I cannot divide by 2 because only these 2 numbers are divisible by 2. This 1 here is not divisible by 2. All 3 numbers have to be divisible by the same number. You hear me? Good job. That was a good question. All right, here we go. Let's take a look at number 7. So again, say it out loud. X equals negative b all over. All right, guys, come on now. Before you leave, let's get it knocked down. All right, make sure you know it. All right, so now I need everybody to tell me A equals, B equals, C equals 3. All right, now let's plug in. X equals -6 plus or minus square root 36 minus 4 times 1 times 3 all over 2, right? Because A is what number? A is 1. All right, here we go. Now, in your head, what's 4 times 1 times 3? 36 minus 12. So here we go. X equals -6 plus or minus square root 24 over 2. Now I have to be able to break down square root of 24. We've done that 100 times. What's the square root of 24?
2 and 6.
Thank you. -6 plus or minus 2 radical 6 over 2. Now what? Yes. Highlight.
6, -6.
And what am I dividing all those by?
2.
So X equals.
-3 plus or minus radical 6.
That's it. Because of course you can put it over 1, but is over 1 necessary? No. All right, come on, guys. That, believe it or not, is really difficult. Really, really hard. Personally, I think it's simple. All right, if you understand radicals, plugging numbers into formulas, it's really simple. All right, let's have some more fun with number 9. All right, here we go. X equals. Wow. All over 2A. Perfect. Keep writing it. Keep writing it. And then A equals, B equals, and C equals. All right, here we go. So I'm not putting double negatives, so we just start out with X equals 10 plus or minus. Then you automatically square it. What is that? Not -100, 100 minus 4 times 2 times -1 all over all over 4. All right, here we go. X equals 10 plus or minus the square root.
Yeah. Plus 8.
Yes, 108 all over 4. That's obviously 36 times 3. So X equals 10. I'm going to write this out, plus or minus 36 times 3 all over 4. So what's the square root of 36? So this could be 10 plus or minus 6 radical 3 all over what? 4. Highlight the 3 numbers. Can I reduce? What am I dividing by? 2. So what do I have? Wow. All right, I told you guys, that's not that hard. All right, that is not that hard. Okay, now we're going way back, way back. All right. So I knew this was going to have trouble. So I went ahead and decided let's just go ahead and review. All right. So number 11, when there is no X term, we can just take the what? Let's take the square root. All right. Now, how many solutions are there? How many solutions to a quadratic? 2. So you know X equals plus or minus 5. Everybody good with that? Any issues? Number 13. I could do quadratic formula, or I could factor. Wow, I could factor that guy. And then what? There you go. So now we can just write underneath that X equals.
Minus 3. Comma 4.
Beautiful. All right, I don't want to do quadratic unless I can't factor it. All right, the quadratic formula is used when you cannot factor. All right. Let's continue on. Well, we skipped that step, right?
No, not on that one.
Which one?
The next problem.
All right, on 15. I can just do what to both sides? Take the square roots. So now I have X minus 5 equals. What does it equal?
36.
No.
2 radical 3.
No, definitely not. It's not a perfect square. So what is it? Not radical 6 only. No. Thank you. Plus or minus radical 6. Come on, when you take the square root with a variable, you have to remember the plus or minus, because how many solutions are in a quadratic? Dose. Now, what do I do to both sides? What do I do to both sides now?
Square.
Would someone tell me what to do with both? I'm trying to isolate X.
Oh,
Add 5. Wow. X equals 5 plus or minus square root 6. Anybody have any issues? All right, this is going way back. Nobody. What? Come on. I just added 5, right? 17, what is the answer, obviously? X equals?
Oh, you can't get it.
It would have been better if you'd have said no solution. No solution. No matter what number you square, it's not going to be negative. All right, 17 is no solution. All right, here we go. Can I factor 19?
Yeah. Oh, wait,
No.
no.
No, there are no factors of 9 that can make 3. So now we're going to use the quadratic formula. So everybody's going to write down x equals negative b plus or minus the square root b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Now here, a equals what? B equals, C equals. All right, so here we go. X equals negative 3 plus or minus 9 minus 4 times 1 times
Negative 1.
all over. All right, here we go. Let's try to figure this inside the radical. X equals negative 3 plus or minus the square root of, thank you, 45 over 2. Now let's break down 45. What's 45? I want the answer.
3 and 3 radical 5.
Thank you. Negative 3 plus or minus 3 radical 5 all over 2. That's your answer. Anybody have any issues? Now, is 21 a quadratic? No. So I mix them up to try to throw you off a little bit. Or it's not a quadratic. So all we're doing is distributing the 2. 4x minus 10 equals x plus 2. Now everybody should be able to look at that and say 3x equals 12.
X equals 4.
So x equals 4. That's what I'm hoping everybody can do. What? Move the x over. Move this over here and move this over here. Come on now. All right, you can't forget the basics. All right, here we go. Okay, now on this problem right here, everybody put a star by this one, please. I need to expand this out. I need to expand this out. So everybody's going to write x squared plus 9. Now remember, x minus 5 times x minus 5. What is this right here? X times x today is x squared. How much here? And how much here? Right. So that's going to give me negative 10x. And then the last one is plus 25. All right, 1 second. All right, tell me what's the matter. Now, listen to me. I appreciate your question. So listen to what I'm saying now. A lot of kids try to take the square root. The problem with that, buddy, is you can't take the square root through addition. So you can't simplify the left side. Do you hear me? Or you cannot take the square root through addition. So you can't take the square root of both sides because that is not x plus 3. You see what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
Right? That's not a true statement. So you're not allowed, but listen to me, that was another very good question. All right, a lot of people think you can take the square root. You cannot take the square root through addition and subtraction. All right, now it's a quadratic. Uh-oh, it's not really a quadratic because what can happen to the x squareds?
Cancel.
They cancel. All right. So again, I like the x is positive. So I just say 10x is equal to 16. 16 over 10, which is 8 over 5. All right, anybody have any issues with that now? Come on. What?
Isn't it negative 10x?
But what I did was, listen to me. I hate negatives, so I always avoid them if I can. So because this was negative 10x, I moved that over to the other side. It became positive 10x. And then I moved the positive 9 over to the right side. What? What's 25 minus 9? All right, now look, like I said, that's just first week of school. We did solving equations. All right. All right, 25. Everybody put a star by 25. This one is annoying. All right, super annoying. All right, we have to square x plus 6. So let's practice that. X plus 6 times x plus 6.
Wouldn't it just be
X squared
plus 12x plus
12x. Wow, plus 36. If you learn that little technique, it'll save you much time. And then distribute the 2. Combining terms, x squared plus what?
12, yeah, plus 14x.
Now, come on now, let's try to do this in one step. Paying attention, 36 minus 2. 34, then what do I do with that 13? Right, there you go. 34 minus 13 today is plus 21 equals 0. Now, after all that, why is this kind of annoying? Can I factor that? What are the factors of 21 that make 14?
Oh, wait, 7 and
7 and
that
3.
makes 14. Yeah,
That makes 14 sometimes, right? But not today. All right. We can also do 1 and 21. Not sure how that's going to be 14. So now, because it doesn't factor, I have to use the, you have to use the quadratic formula. This is annoying, guys. All right, so here we go. So everybody's got to write it down. Let's see what you remembered. X equals negative b
Plus or minus square root b squared minus 4ac.
all over 2a. Brilliant. All right, now I don't have to write a, b, and c anymore because we know what they are. So x equals what? Negative what?
41. Oh, shoot.
Negative what?
14.
Negative 14 plus or minus. Does anybody know what 14 squared is? What's 14 squared? Yeah, 196. Minus 4. What's A? What's C? All right. All over 2. So x equals negative 14 plus or minus the square root of. Now I need help with 196 minus 84. 196 minus 84. 112 all over 2. Now, 112. Remember what that was? Most people don't know that. But 112 is what?
So then it's just four radical 7.
But I'm just making sure everybody sees 112 is 16 times 7. All right, guys? So then he is correct. Negative 14 plus or minus, what is that again?
Radical 7,
4 radical 7 all over what?
2. So then couldn't you just divide by 2?
Yep, then you're dividing by 2. So my,
Negative 7 plus or minus 2 radical 7.
beautiful. That is the answer. All right. And that problem is considered what? This is as hard as I can make it, believe it or not. That's really as hard as if you can do that, then you make 100 on the test on Friday, 100 on the test easily. All right. That's as hard as it gets. All right. Here we go. Now, number 27, how do I undo divided by 3? So everybody should write x plus 4 squared equals what?
24.
24.
Then do we do,
Say it.
so x plus 4 times x plus 4?
No, we can do it quicker than that.
So you,
What can I do to both sides?
so you square both.
Yeah, now you can take the square root because do you see there's no addition on the right side? There's no x on the right side. All right, so we're going to take the square root of both sides. So x plus 4, I can't tell you how many times we've done the square root of 24. So what does that break down to? Stop telling me what it breaks down to and give me the answer. Not exactly.
Plus or minus 2 radical 6.
Yes, come on, guys. Don't forget the plus or minus. That's the biggest mistake that's made on the test. Kids forget the plus or minus. How many solutions are for a quadratic? 2. I'm trying to remind you so when you take the test, you don't forget the plus or minus. Now, the only thing I have to do is move the 4. So the final answer is
Negative 4 plus 2. Or minus
come on, plus or minus what?
2 radical 6.
2 radical 6. Negative 4 plus or minus 2 radical 6. All right. Last one. All right. And boy, did I have fun. All right. What do I have to do first here, guys?
24.
What can I do to both sides?
Add by 6.
Add 6, right? Because there's only a square term, so we isolate the square. So now I have 3x squared equals what?
30.
30. And then I do what?
Divide by 3.
So x squared equals, and now what? Square root. So x equals. Thank you. Plus or minus what?
10. Radical 10.
Radical 10. We're not dividing by 2. All right. Now, I honestly, I do think this is fair, guys. All right. So guess what I'm going to do right after this class? I'm going to do the evens. Your job, please, and listen to me. I'm posting this. All right. And then your job right now is to get busy on the what? Get busy on the evens. Try them. And then tonight, go check your answers. All right. Listen to the video again real quick. All right. Again, come on. I'm not trying to make the last quarter of your life miserable. I'm trying to make it easy. I mean it. You got to do some work with me, though. All right. Try these. All right. If you get stuck on one, look at the video. All right. But that was excellent. Excellent. I want the quadratic formula memorized by tomorrow.